the Egyptians have lived for centuries, in harmony, irrespective of whether they are Copts, Jewish, Muslims, and right now there is an expression of anger, there is a polarization, and people are going into different camps. So the Muslim majority are looking at the Coptic minority as different. You get in that extremism, extreme interpretation of any values comes in an environment when people feel insecure. In Europe, we have seen the persecution of the Jews, and we have seen it in many different, the Armenians. I mean, you can go through history in India, the Muslim had to leave and establish a state, and the indigenous people in Latin America, everywhere. There is always this tyranny of the majority, which is unfortunately a tendency I think we have. And that's why when we talk about democracy, when we talk about rule of law, the most important is really to make sure that you have a strong judicial system, a strong remedial system that can protect minorities, irrespective of whether they are a religious minority, a racial minority, a linguistic minority. And what you have right now in Egypt is that polarization taking shape or having a religious undertone. You have to deal with that in creating a different environment. I certainly believe that if every Egyptian or every human being, have enough to eat, feel a sense of dignity, a lot of that polarization, extremism will evaporate. So it create a different environment. We go back to what Egypt was 50 years ago, when we lived here in peace and harmony with Christian, Copts, Jews, and everybody. Where you have the underlying bond between people as citizens, and not trying to categorize them as different groups. Yes, they are different groups, but they are, at the end of the day, citizens of one state with rights and obligations. They are part of just one human family, where everybody is exactly the same, irrespective of the superficial differences, in my view, what we try to emphasize.
In 1947, when India was partitioned, there were killings also. But simultaneously, a great number of ordinary people, whether they were Hindus or Muslims or Sikhs, they protected fellow human beings. Muslims protected Hindus, Hindus protected Muslims. This happened on a very large scale. This is the underreported story of that time. And this only confirms what Dr. البردادی was saying earlier, that human beings, yes, they may have a religious aspect to their life, to their identity, but they also are citizens and they are human beings. Fortunately, ordinary people all over the world, certainly I know about India and Pakistan, and I'm sure it's also true of Egypt, regard fellow human beings primarily as fellow human beings, not as belonging to this religion or that religion. This is something that we can feel confident about as we think about the future. And secondly, on a very practical note, whether in Egypt, certainly in India and Pakistan, every part of India has Hindus, has Muslims, has other minorities, there are other divisions of caste and sect also. So people of diverse kinds, diverse identities lived next to one another. We cannot accept that Muslims and Christians will have to fight, or that Muslims and Hindus will have to fight. If we accept that, we are accepting permanent war in every corner of this world. We just cannot accept this. It is the citizenship part, the humanity part that has to be emphasized. And of course, the right interpretation of religion also has to be asserted, fought for, contested. But as long as we understand that human beings are above all citizens and fellow human beings, and the religious identity is very important, but it's not the sole issue in the world, we will overcome these challenges in both our countries.